So everyone is asking, should I buy now or later? What is the current interest rates? Or also, will I pay more or less to buy a house today or tomorrow? That's why in today's video, I have invited my trusted lender to give us more information about this and where is the market going. So without further ado, let's now all welcome John. Hi, John. How are you?
Wonderful. Thank you very much for having me. That's a good question. That's a very big question. A lot of people ask that question. Should they buy now or later? One thing I kind of always keep in mind whenever someone's asking that question is, what type of property are they buying? Are they buying it to live in it, to have their memories? That's where their kids are growing up. That's where the kids are going to be going to school. Or is it for like a second home or investment property? If you're looking for a return of investment, your decision on whether you should buy now or later is going to be different than if you're simply trying to buy a house so your family can live somewhere. Because unfortunately, right now, renting is not really the best option because rents are just as high, if not even higher, than buying a house. So a lot of the should you buy now or later is kind of taken out of the equation when you're really buying it just so you have a family that can live in a house and enjoy where you're at. So, but should you buy now or later regarding return of investment? House values are declining. Interest rates, right now they're steady. And what's happening is year over year, and I don't want to get too in the weeds, but the consumer price index actually is what kind of pushes a lot of the determinations of whether interest rates are higher or lower. And the Fed fund rate, which is what also affects whether, based on inflation, whether or not the interest rates are higher or lower. Right now, as a matter of fact, inflation's at 7.1%. It actually fell, which actually is good for interest rates. And they are predicted that interest rates should be going lower at least until March, month after month. So as far as the house values, they're declining some. As far as the interest rates, they're predicted to keep going lower because the Fed keeps putting the screws into the economy to make sure that's happening. And so really, should it be a good time to buy? Absolutely. If you're trying to buy a house to live in, now's the time to buy. If you're trying to buy to invest, to get a good rate of return, it really depends on how you buy the house. Interest rates are coming down, but if you're getting a high enough return of investment, you know what your mortgage payment or whatever your costs are with what your rent is, buy now. If you're not, don't buy. Investments and second homes are a different mindset than actually buying as a primary residence.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that, John. And this is why it's very important to talk to your realtors and your lender to know what your goal is, because this could be different for everyone, and talking to them will make your plan will be easier and the transaction will be smoother. That being said, everyone is asking, what is the current interest rates?
Rates right now, they're ranging. It depends on the many factors, not just your credit score. Are you buying it as a second home, investment property, or a primary residence? There's different interest rates if you're buying a manufactured home as opposed to a townhome or condo or a single family home. How much of a down payment? I mean, if you're putting a large down payment, there's less risk of a foreclosure. So obviously they're going to give you a break on the interest rate because the risk factors are lower. But in general, right now it's in the upper fives, lower to mid sixes. But there's so many factors involved. You have to talk to your lender in order for you to really nail down as of that moment what the interest rate would be for that house you're looking to purchase.
Awesome. Thank you so much, John. And this is why, guys, I'll be putting all of the information of John. If you guys need a breakdown of the interest rates, the closing costs, and how much you need to bring, so you'll have an idea and how much you can prepare for this investment property or the primary property for your families. So with that being said, is there anything that if people cannot buy a home or maybe they're having a hard time with closing costs, is there any assistance that the lenders are offering to our clients?
Yes, and it's been around for a while. There's down payment assistance programs. There's multiple ones. A lot of people that are really having difficulty getting enough money together to buy a house, they have to go with the first-time home buyer programs, which by definition means you cannot have owned a house in the last 3 years. But there's more than just the main one, which is considered a Florida bond loan, which is great because it covers all counties in all of Florida. And for that, you can either get $10,000 toward your down payment, or if you're a hometown heroes, which means you're in the medical industry, teaching, education, law enforcement, or emergency medical technician, if you're in one of those four industries, you can get an additional amount of down payment, quite a bit as a matter of fact. But there's a lot of different down payment assistance. There's county, there's not just the state one. So the best thing is, depending on where you're trying to live and your situation, is to talk to a lender like myself, and we can go through the different options you have to getting the money necessary so you can make your purchase now, rather than having to save years from now to buy your house.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that. That is an absolute, program that will be really beneficial for everyone who wanted to be a homeowners and, is not yet prepared for the closing cost. Like the most awaited question that everyone has been asking us, will I pay more or less to buy a house today or tomorrow? Everyone has been asking me this question.
Fair enough. So based on trends right now, because the Federal Reserve is increasing the Fed fund rates, because they're really doing everything they can to slow the economy down in order to have a lower interest rate, and there are declining sale prices. So that means that the loan amounts are getting smaller. The Fed is trying to push the interest rates down. If everyone is really trying now to do that, it seems realistic that it's better to own going forward than it would be a year ago when the interest rates were skyrocketing, when the sale prices were skyrocketing. It'll be a more likely an easier time to buy going forward. But there are some things that have to be looked at. Right now, people are looking to build, but there's not enough houses out there for people to live in. There needs to be more houses being built in order to meet the demand of people wanting to buy houses. Also, in Florida, sometimes because of politics, people from New York and California, they all want to move here. So the good thing about Florida is it's more than just being in the middle of a state that, nothing as much is going on. When you're in Florida, people want to be here. So even though the interest rates might be going down slower, or the sale prices might be dropping to some degree, there's always going to be people wanting to come to Florida to the fact that it's going to prop that up some. So you got to get it while it's there. If you find something you want, you got to get it now, because believe me, you're not fighting just about the people next door. You're fighting from people from all over the country to buy your house that you want to live in. So my advice to you, if you love it, make an offer.
Absolutely. And also this kind of market that we're going into, a lot of sellers are offering a 2-1 buy down, which John can be, maybe if you can touch on that to give our viewers more information about 2-1 buy down. But this is amazing, especially if you're a buyer who wanted, or maybe could be scared with the current interest that we have right now. This is something that we need to take advantage.
Yeah, the 2-1 buy down right now is like one of the main products that all lenders are pretty much using. And that, just to kind of bring it down to something very simple, for the people believe that the interest rates are going to go lower within the next 2 or 3 years. I mean, your crystal ball works as good as mine. But the belief that the interest rates are going to be low enough where a lot of people are going to refinance in 2 or 3 years, they're only needing a loan for about a couple of years. So the financing nowadays is called a 2-1 buy down, which is where for the first 2 years, the seller subsidizes the payment. So you're saving, anywhere from $6,000 to $11,000 or $12,000 over a 2-year period, because the seller is helping you with a payment subsidy. Then after that, the thoughts are you're going to probably refinance the loan anyways. So it's a huge payment deduction while you're living in the house, waiting for the interest rates to go down. 2-1 buy down. You should definitely get a quote for that, along with the normal 30 and 15-year fixed rate.
Awesome. Thank you so much, John. All of the information that you have shared today is going to be very beneficial for everyone, especially for first-time homeowners. And if you guys have any more further questions about mortgages, lending, interest rates, should I buy now or later, what's the best case for me, please contact John. All of his information will be in the description box below. And if you guys have any questions about the real estate market, the Tampa market, I'm always here for you. All of the information will be in the description box below. Again, thank you so much, John, for hopping into this interview, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye for now. Thank you.
Thank you.